This podcast is a part of the Pro Wrestling Junkies Pod Squad Network. You can follow us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, PW_Junkies. Make sure you guys leave us a like, subscribe, and comment, and a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. And just make sure you check out all the amazing podcasts that are available on the Pro Wrestling Junkies Pod Squad Network. You have The Junkyard, What Do You Say with DDJ, Such Good Shoot, and Brad and Steven Talk Wrestling. So make sure you guys check all those out. So, hey, on to the show. Enjoy. Hey, everyone. Welcome to your regularly scheduled episode of The Junkyard. Just want to let you know things are just going to be a little bit different here this week, maybe even going forward. So what's going to happen is on this edition, the Tuesday edition of The Junkyard, we're going to be doing our What Happened This Week in Wrestling, where we break down all the shows from the past week, what we liked, what we didn't like, our Junkyard Picks of the week. Also going to be having, my Dark Order segment of the week. So yeah, that's going to be on this episode. Then on Friday, we're going to be doing our weekly roundtable, talking whatever we talk about, whatever subject, topic, whatever we want to talk about for that day. This week, it'll be wrestlers jumping ship from, one promotion to another. So you can check that out on Friday. The whole point of this is, to make things a little more easily digestible. I know we have a tendency maybe to talk a lot, but there is a lot of wrestling to talk about. So I just want to let you guys know, if you don't hear the weekly roundtable after this episode, make sure you guys stay right where you are here on the Pro Wrestling Junkies Pod Squad Network, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your podcast. Just check back on Friday. It'll be dropping like 12 a.m. regular time. It'll be up on there on your feed. Click it. You can listen to us talk about that, and also Paul White jumping to AEW. So make sure you guys don't forget about that one. So without further ado, here's this week's episode of The Junkyard. Again, what happened this week in wrestling today. The weekly roundtable will be Friday. So I'll catch you guys later. Actually, in about a few seconds. So see ya. Peace.
Hey, this is Tamatonga, Bullet Club original OG triple OG triple.
What's up? It's CVV, Chris Van Vliet, and you are listening to The Junkyard.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to another installment of the Junkyard Podcast, episode 18, in fact. I'm one of your hosts, Spencer Cantor, also known as number 11. Join the Dark Order. Guys, this is the Junkyard, as I said, the number one podcast on the Pro Wrestling Junkies Pod Squad Network, and your one-stop shop for all your pro wrestling needs. Dennis, introduce yourselves to these people, if by now they don't know who we are, or if they're just checking us out for the first time.
Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time checking us out, if it's the 5th time you're checking us out, if it's the 12th time, whatever, thank you so much for listening. It is now time for everyone to get out from whatever rock you've been living underneath and get with the program. My name is Dennis Day Jr., otherwise known as DDJ, the host of What Do You Say with DDJ, that drops every Monday at midnight Central Time as part of the Pro Wrestling Junkies Pod Squad.
Cheap-pop.
Well, I got to give the people what they want.
And what the people want, ladies and gentlemen, is I, Jovanni Too Hotty, El Guapo Too Hotty. Any way you say it, frontwards, backward, it is Too Hotty here for you and your listening needs.
That's right. Guys, how are we doing on this Saturday night when we are recording?
Not going to lie, I've been better, but I'm trucking through because I'm here. We do this for the people. We don't do it for the rock. We do it for the people.
That's right.
All right. Well, Dennis might not be feeling good, so we wish him a speedy recovery on whatever he's doing. I'm tired as hell. Jovan is, just being too hotty. But hey, let's get into what happened this week in wrestling. So we're coming off the heels of, a somewhat good pay-per-view off Elimination Chamber, with an ending to the night that I don't think any of us saw coming. And if you want to see our reaction to that, you can check out our Elimination Chamber reactions on our YouTube page, PW_Junkies, or on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Just look for the Elimination Chamber 2021 reaction show. We also have a prediction show if you want to know what we thought beforehand. So go check that out. But the big thing coming off that was The Miz is now the WWE champion, and that led into Monday Night Raw. So The Miz, had his celebration with the title, but, people are going to come after that title. And the first person that wants a shot at that title is Bobby Lashley, because during the pay-per-view, there was, maybe a deal bartered between MVP and The Miz, where if Bobby Lashley destroyed Drew McIntyre, he would help The Miz get the WWE Championship and get, that cash-in opportunity. But then Braun Strowman was like, no, I want a shot at the WWE title. So for the main event that night, Lashley and Braun fought to see who would face The Miz on, that would actually be last night's Monday Night Raw. So by the time this airs, we'll know if Bobby Lashley is WWE champion or The Miz retained. Guys, I think we've talked about it before in the Elimination Chamber reaction show, but let me know, what are your thoughts on The Miz being champion and this whole interaction that happened, between Lashley and Braun? And with the winner, do you think The Miz is going to retain, or is Lashley getting that WWE championship, I believe for the first time ever?
It would be, if he wins, it would be his first WWE championship reign. He's been Impact World Champion a couple of times. He was also the ECW champion for a few months back in late 2006, early 2007. First off, no issues with The Miz being champion, because I don't think he's going to be a long-term champion. In fact, I think I've gone on record, I don't know if it's been on here or in the group, and I've said I don't expect Miz to be the champion going into WrestleMania. But I think this is the best Bobby Lashley has looked since he's been back. I say it's about time. This should have happened a long time ago. Bobby Lashley was getting the title match regardless of the outcome of the match with Braun Strowman. The thing is if Braun won, he would have been added to the match, and it would have been a triple threat match.
There we go.
I really think it was the right way to go, because it really gives Bobby Lashley a ton of momentum, a ton of credibility. It makes him look like a legit monster that we all wanted him to be when he returned, and it would not surprise me one bit that by the time this episode drops, that we're saying that we have a new WWE champion in Bobby Lashley, because I think going into WrestleMania, I think the money's going to be Lashley defending against Drew McIntyre going for Mania.
Well, we're going to differ here a little early too, but I think Miz as champ right now is great. We saw him make the phone call to Lashley, or at least to MVP, to set up the whole run-in for the cash-in. Then Lashley and Strowman, man, on Monday night, talk about two bulls going at it. But we saw something happen that doesn't happen a lot. Somebody took Braun's big slam and they kicked out. Lashley took Braun's best and kicked out. And then just hit this running rope-to-rope spear for the win. He came off looking super strong. But be aware, The Miz did make another phone call. So I'm feeling there's going to be a little bit of help going into this past Monday night. And I feel that come this time when this episode drops, we may still have The Miz as WWE champion.
All right. Any speculation on who that phone call maybe went to?
Man, going down to people that Miz could have called, he doesn't have any real friends. That's kind of sad to say. Morrison is hurt.
Yeah. We'll
touch on that in a little bit, but who could he have reached out to? Who's another hired hand that would be able to just come in? That's all for the speculation. We'll see Monday.
Yeah.
Maybe it could be a call-up. Possibly. I don't know. There's many routes they could possibly go with that now. But you touched on already. We'll get into it now. Riddle faced off against John Morrison in a non-title match for the since Riddle's U.S. champion, it was a non-title match. But during that match, Morrison actually got injured. I don't know if they said how long he would be out for, if not long at all.
I don't think they've because I don't think that it's been revealed Unless it has, I've missed it. But I don't think the extent of his injuries has been revealed yet. So I don't think there's really been any like, he's going to be out for this long and stuff. So
yeah, and you could clearly see it in the match when he got hurt, or at least when he wasn't 100%, because he did you kind of saw it towards the end of the match, and they put on a real good match for what it was.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to say that was a very good match, and I remember when we did our reaction show. I said, I'm looking forward to seeing Riddle and Morrison go at it, because I thought they would be put on some great matches, and Monday night was an example that, they can put on a good match.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. So John Morrison, if you're going through an injury, wish you a speedy recovery, because we know you have your, big tag team match against Bad Bunny and Damian Priest to prepare for, because Jovan thinks is going to be WWE champion versus Bad Bunny for the 24/7 champion, but we know that's not happening.
If the Miz keeps that belt, it will be WWE champion versus 24/7 champion, because as we saw in the cutscenes, Damian Priest is going to make sure no one takes that belt off of Bad Bunny. So that's the lead up to WrestleMania. You guys want something big? That's going to generate the news.
No, R-Truth will be 24/7 champion by next week, probably. All right. So next thing we have here. Is there trouble in Retribution, guys? It seemed like, everything was starting to, fire on all cylinders. Things were getting better. What's going on with Retribution? Are they finally going to kill this gimmick?
Well, when you got, this ultra talented guy in Mustafa Ali, who has been cutting some just phenomenal promos that have so much realism and infused in them.
Mm-hmm.
And he's literally going out there. He is doing his part in leading this group and trying to get them to where they want to be. But it just seems like nobody else in Retribution is really pulling their weight, so to speak. And that I understand his frustration. Me more than anybody here has been ultra critical of this whole storyline. And a couple weeks ago, I softened my stance and said, you know what, maybe there's still hope, but I'm kind of falling back into that just because, again, I don't know what they're doing with this. I thought, this whole stuff with, Kofi Kingston and Mustafa Ali was going to breathe new life into this group, but it's just the same old shit, different day. And it's just, I think it is time. I think it just drop the gimmick, let T-Bar be, Dominic Dijakovic, let Slapnuts be, Shane Thorne, let Mace be Dio Madden going back to, maybe being a commentator on Raw or something like that. And, just for God's sakes, let Mia Yim be Mia Yim.
I couldn't have said it any better, DDJ. I mean, it's horrible watching the small glimmer of hope that was Retribution get killed by 50-50 booking.
Mm-hmm.
Had they started to win after we had that a bit of glimmer hope 2 weeks ago, we would be in a different spot than we are now. But they're losing. And Ali, who is the best thing in that group, because honestly, the man has been the best thing in a while, which is why he was on the track to WrestleMania a few years ago before he got injured. He's just showing us once again, that he still got it. He's the whole reason for this team being somewhat relevant.
Mm-hmm.
And he can't do it by himself. Either they're going to blow this up, or they're going to start booking them better, or you're just stuck in the same place you were before Retribution, which why did you waste all of our time? So I don't know what they're going to do, but I've lost a lot of interest in it.
Okay. Maybe they need a new member of Retribution. Maybe they need a new female. And that gets us to our next point. We know what's happening with former NXT Women's Champion Ria Ripley.
God, I hope she doesn't get put in Retribution.
I swear to God, she better not.
No, but after her amazing performance at the Royal Rumble, finishing in the top two next to the winner, Bianca Belair, she's finally going to be making her way to Monday Night Raw. And I think that's going to be a great addition to kind of a lacking roster. I think you guys, we've talked about Rhea before, but do you think this is the right call going to Raw, or should she have gone to SmackDown?
I think yes, and for two reasons. One that I've stated before, and I'll restate it again, but then just with recent developments, I'll kind of elaborate on that. So I think it's a great move to put her on Raw because I know when she was rumored for a call-up earlier that they were talking of her going to SmackDown. I didn't like the idea because it was hot off the heels of Bianca Belair debuting on SmackDown, and I felt putting Rhea on there would have taken away some of the shine and, would have kind of taken some of the spotlight on off of Bianca Belair. And also now with the fact that Lacey Evans is going to be off TV for a while, Raw needs another woman to go up, and that we know Rhea can work with Charlotte. We've seen it. We saw it at last year's WrestleMania. We very well could see it again this year. But I think absolutely for those two reasons alone, putting Rhea on Raw was the absolute right call to make.
Yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Raw is in need of talent. This was even prior to Lacey Evans having the baby pregnancy. So looking at it, I mean, they've turned Mandy Rose into a tag team. God knows what they're doing with Asuka. She's champ, but when's the last time she really defended? Alexa Bliss is in this Randy Orton storyline. They don't have anybody that's a viable champ on Raw right now, or at least a viable competitor against the champ, because Charlotte's still having this Rick issue. But you bring up Ria Ripley, a legit hoss. I am all about Ria Ripley. Let her go in there. Let her be strong because, man, she's earned it. She is a legitimate threat. Let her go make some splashes. I'm not talking Paige when she debuted on the Monday night after Mania, but I want Rhea Ripley to go in there and shock the system.
Here's a quick hot take. Do you think maybe Rhea takes over the spot that Lacey Evans held as maybe someone Rick's trying to mentor and maybe have a go up against Charlotte?
I want her against Charlotte, but I don't want the Ric Flair angle still.
Okay, fair enough. This is something that popped in my mind. I kind of want to get it, out there. I agree. Rhea doesn't need anyone. She can stand on her own.
Yeah, and then nobody wants to think about Ric Flair still needing pills to get Space Mountain going. But junkies out there and all of our listeners to the Junkyard, if you're needing a little bit of hiccup in your get up and your kick up isn't as good as it used to be, make sure you go out there and reach out to our number one official, unofficial sponsor, Blue Chew. Make sure that Space Mountain isn't out of action when you have the longest line for the oldest ride.
Blue Chew, woo!
Just woo it.
Yeah, just woo it. Since we're already talking about Ric Flair, let's just get into it. Ric Flair, Charlotte, and now, the absence of Lacey Evans. What's the latest development there going on with, that stupid storyline?
Well, it looks like to me that portion of this angle is dead, and thank God.
Yes.
That promo, you gotta wonder how much of what Charlotte said was, and this was a take I'm going to take. From what I heard on Busted Open Radio, I believe it was the next day, and I think it was Bully Ray. That wasn't just Charlotte talking to Rick. That was Ashley Fleer talking to Richard Fleer. That was a daughter talking to her dad. Like, I felt that. Like, that was probably one of, if not the best promos Charlotte has had since she's been on the main roster. And I felt it. I could feel like that this was, just like I said, her, a daughter talking to her father, and this wasn't for show. This was like, I felt like there was some deep-seated emotion back behind this, and those promos are always the best ones. Like I said, Charlotte knocked it out of the park, and yeah, I absolutely love this promo. I feel like I want to feel like that this may be, we may not see Rick for a while. It wouldn't surprise me to see him pop up, but regardless, that was a hell of a promo.
When it gets real like that, they call it a shoot.
Yep.
That was a hell of a shoot. There was emotion. It was everything you want in a badass promo, and you know that she spoke from somewhere that was real because of the emotion that she put into it. This wasn't your cookie cutter WWE. Here's your sheet. Go out there and say what you want you to say. No, this was 100% from the heart. You know, damn it, I need to be me, and I need to stop having, you know, you in my in trying to cast that shadow. I need you to let me be me. So it was amazing. I love Charlotte, big fan, and hopefully this takes her now to a championship which she can honestly have a good stake for against Asuka. But I feel like Raw is kind of just teetering until someone makes their return. So we'll see what happens.
Are we talking about the man Becky Lynch?
I am. I do think that what we've seen with the Raw Women's title is a clear indication that they are really just waiting for Becky Lynch to come back.
Yeah, I definitely see that too. Okay, we got one more thing to talk about Raw before we move on to SmackDown. Does Randy Orton need to get checked for something? Because last time I checked, he had some black goo coming out of his mouth, after, Alexa Bliss did like some kind of possession thing, and then Randy Orton was just coughing up this black guck. What in the world is going on with that? And any developments with the, he who shall not be named coming back anytime soon?
I can tell you this. Papa Shango has resurfaced and has taken the form of Alexa Bliss, because that was ripped straight out of 1992 when Papa Shango put a curse on the Ultimate Warrior.
I love you so much right now. Yes.
when I watched that, that was the immediate vibe that I got. I said, this is so Papa Shango and the Ultimate Warrior.
Yes.
It is a foregone conclusion that I did say the whole thing, so it does not count. He who shall not be named is coming back. And I am going to hot take, hot shot, bold prediction, whatever you want to call it. We see his return at Fastlane, or we see it on the night after on the Raw after Fastlane to set up the WrestleMania match between he who shall not be named and Randy Orton.
I'm down with it. I love the Papa Shango reference. A hell of a callback, because when I saw that's the exact same thing I thought. But I think, and it could be weird, but he lives in Alexa Bliss.
Ooh.
They're taking this a little different. They're using the storyline a little different. I think if he would have appeared, it would have happened already. But I think they're going to use it as, like he lives in her, and somehow we're going to get a manifestation of him at Mania. He has to debut. He has to come back at Mania. There's no ifs, ands, or buts.
So you don't think he thinks they hold off on him until actually Mania? Okay.
If they do, that'd be great. But they like to blow their load a little fast, so they probably won't.
Oh, so they're like this podcast where we blow our load too early.
That's right.
And what about those times when you don't want to blow your load too fast, Jovanni?
If you don't want to blow your load too fast, you can go ahead and reach out to the official, unofficial sponsor of Pro Wrestling Junkies Junkyard. That is Blue Chew, the one and only little blue pill that does come in a chewable, so you can just chew it.
Lob you that softball and you hit it right out of the park. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sometimes we get one every now and then. Moving on to SmackDown, everyone. We have not our main event, but we have the SmackDown Women's title match set, and I believe we all called this. It's going to be Sasha Banks, the SmackDown Women's Champion, versus the Royal Rumble winner, Bianca Belair, at Mania. Like I said, I know we've all talked about this before. I think it's the right decision. This is going to be a star-making performance for Bianca, and I'm going to go ahead and take my shot now. Bianca is, having all this momentum. I'm sorry, girl, you ain't winning the title. I think Sasha retains.
Ooh, like it.
I haven't made I would not be surprised if that were the case. And that but I still need some time to think about it. But I would not be surprised, because technically, if Sasha had already had a WrestleMania moment, I would think, this is going to be Bianca's time to shine, but she's got a long future in this business, and she's going to be here for a while, so she's going to have her fair share of WrestleMania moments. So I'm not officially saying this, but yeah, I would not be surprised to see Sasha retain at Mania.
My question to you, gentlemen, is who does Reginald work for? And where the hell is Carmella?
And speaking of Reginald, man, how about he got his own music and video?
That's what I'm saying. It kind of feels like Reginald is breaking out to being just Reginald because we've seen him a lot. There's been no Mella, and he's been pushing Banks. So Reginald, I feel like, can be the reason Sasha either wins or loses this match at Mania. But it was the best choice for Belair, man. Bianca couldn't have gone to Raw and faced Asuka because there's not the same buzz there for Asuka being champ as there is for Sasha being champ.
Yeah.
And that's sad that, essentially the same position on, a different show, you feel like there's such a big difference between the champs.
Yep.
So definitely great pick by Bianca Belair.
Yep. Moving on. So last week's episode of SmackDown, Apollo Crews officially turned heel by attacking the Intercontinental Champion Big E. This week, he decided to turn up the heel tendencies, and he got some new gear and like a scarf and everything. What's going on with that? And do we like the new gear?
You know what? I've been leading off. I'm gonna let Jovanni lead off on this one.
All right. We've been calling for this for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And for it to have been done correctly, you would have to make us care about the switch. No one's going to care that Smiley Apollo Crews is now acting bad because he feels like it. But you throw in an attire change. You throw in a backstory. The first thing he did in his promo, he came out there and said, "You think you know me, but you don't.
Mm-hmm.
This is who I am. I'm Apollo Crews. I am an actual African American. He's from Nigeria. The color palette of his new attire, the green and white, colors of Nigeria. They bleed everything into his character, going to words of wisdom from his grandfather. If your enemies don't comply, give them the steel." I loved everything about it. I feel that this is one of Apollo's best promos that I've ever heard from him. The passionate way that he spoke, not only about where he's from, who he is, why we should care, and everything that he did to build in this small promo to build in this brand new character completely worked for me. I think that if they were going to reboot him, this is exactly how you do it. Give us a reason why. Don't just make it for no reason at all. And the new aggressiveness that he had in the match, everything right now for me with Apollo Crews is working 100%.
I can't really add anything more to that because you pretty much covered all the bases. I absolutely love the new gear. I loved I'm going to go out and say that was his best promo since he's been with this associated with this company, and I'm including his time in NXT as well.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like he said, like you said, this is who I am. You guys think you know me, but you don't know me. And he went and all that, and I was hooked. And like I said, this was the way long overdue change in character that Apollo has sorely needed. My only concern is that is it too little, too late? But I mean, I want it to work because I liked it. I'm invested. This is probably the most I've been invested into this character. And yeah, everything about it it works for me. And we even got a little mention to his indie days because I believe we heard the word "ooha" thrown in there as well too.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I just absolutely on board with all of this. I cannot wait to see what they do with him. And yeah, like I said, whoever is producing this storyline, well done.
And like I said, that one, it just, his promo hits so personal. To mention that, like you said, the UA callback to, of course, in the Indies, UA Nation. But then to deep even further, UA is the tribe in Nigeria. There's many tribes over there. If you know your ancestry or your history and you have family from that part of Africa, there's three main ones. My family, coming from the African Cuban side, we are from like the Yoruba nation. Then there's the UA nation. There's all different nations within that same region. Mm-hmm. So that really drive it home that this is him, just that small little mention takes it to a whole nother level. So I'm down with it. I think the only thing that could really kill this right now is 50-50 booking, where they don't book him strong. But I'm going to say it now, hot take, I won't be mad if he beats Big E for that title, because I think it's needed right now.
I'm with you on that. I'll double back.
All right. Wow. We have definitely turned the corner on Apollo Crews. So it's amazing what, good character development and story can do to a character and a career.
Who'd have thunk that good storytelling would get the fans invested in the product?
Yeah, it's something that they've never done in wrestling. It's amazing.
All right. So last thing we got here is Daniel Bryan fought Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at Elimination Chamber, but that was after he won the Elimination Chamber, beating 5 other men, and then Roman came out and had his title match afterwards. Very heel, cowardly thing to do. And then on SmackDown, Bryan confronted Roman, saying, "Hey, you're a coward. You're chicken shit for doing that." But then Daniel Bryan had a match with J Uso, and then if he won, he was going to have his one-on-one match again with Roman at Fastlane. So J Uso and Daniel Bryan fought in the main event of SmackDown, but unfortunately it ended in a double count out. And I think it was announced Daniel Bryan versus J Uso on the next edition of SmackDown this Friday in a steel cage match. And if Daniel Bryan wins, he will get his one-on-one rematch with the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns at WWE Fastlane, which if you have been listening to the Junkyard, that's the match I predicted for Fastlane. I thought Kevin Owens was going to win the Elimination Chamber, but I said, hey, with the Peacock deal and this being the first pay-per-view on Peacock, you need a big money match. Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns is a big money match. Now, is Daniel Bryan going to win?
Let's stop you right there. Matt Hardy versus Hangman Page at Revolution is a big money match.
Nice.
Is Daniel Bryan going to win? Absolutely not. Is it going to be a great match? Yes. Okay, Dennis, now you can talk.
Yeah, that's what you call great timing, by the way.
Beautiful.
But one stipulation you forgot about the match, the steel cage match. If Daniel Bryan loses, he has to acknowledge Roman Reigns as the head of the table and the tribal chief.
All right.
So it's the Daniel Bryan's got something to lose. And let's also factor in here too. Edge is waiting in the wings.
Yep.
He's got a title match coming at WrestleMania, and he wasn't thrilled with all of this stuff going on. And I've been kind of thinking maybe this Universal title match at WrestleMania isn't going to be one-on-one. Don't be surprised if maybe we get a triple threat and somehow Daniel Bryan finds his way into this match and we get a 3-way for the Universal title at WrestleMania. Because Daniel Bryan, we all know this is his last full-time run. He's come out on the record and said he doesn't want to be doing this for too much longer. And I would like to think that he's done enough to warrant one last big run. Now, whether or not he's going to, win that title, I don't think so. I don't think he really even wants the title, but I think he deserves this run. And it's just something I've been thinking about lately. I have this feeling that maybe we're going to get a triple threat match at Mania.
I really hope not. The reason being is if you win the Rumble, you deserve your shot. And your shot has to be one-on-one. You worked for that, not anybody else. No high side to Daniel Bryan, hell of a wrestler. But if he's going to be at the main event in Mania, he better go in as champion. because I feel like it robs Edge of his win at the Rumble if somebody who didn't have that same circumstance gets that match. And that's, saying that, let me retcon. On SmackDown, this was perfect. They opened the show with this. This was Daniel Bryan coming out and basically calling Roman Reigns a punk ass to his face. It was like, you had me, you defended on me right after I got done. You didn't wait till later in the night. Why? Because I would have had enough time to rest. And it's what we said when we were watching live. Wow, he did it right after the match. So I think that acknowledgement is great. I am a fan of Daniel Bryan. The double count out to me kind of felt like a slap in the face.
Yes.
But next week, and for as much as I want to say it, I don't think it goes anywhere. I think Daniel Bryan is once again going to fail. I don't think he's going to get that match at Fastlane because there's a match that Roman wants, and I think that's what we're going to end up getting.
What match is that going to be?
Whatever tag team match he was talking with about to Paulie.
I think it was Roman and Jay versus Edge and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah. He wants that match. I think Roman's going to get what he wants.
I could see that happening for sure. Definitely, like I said, with a Peacock deal, you want something eye-catching for the casual viewer. Edge definitely could do that. So very well could see that happening and saving, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns for down the line. I don't think I want Daniel Bryan in that to be a triple threat match at Mania either. But WWE has done that in the past. They've had their Rumble winner and inserted someone to make it a triple threat match. They've done that on multiple occasions. So don't be surprised if it happens.
Yeah. Think about WrestleMania 30. Original main event was supposed to be Randy Orton defending the title against Batista.
Yep.
Daniel Bryan basically, through the power of the Yes Movement, after having gone through Triple H, got inserted into that match, making it a triple threat match, and came out on top. But also one thing too, guys, of note, they did have gone on record to say that Fastlane will be streaming on both Peacock and the WWE Network. So maybe this migration may not have will have happened by the time Fastlane rolls around. And obviously, guys, stay tuned to the Junkyard. As soon as we hear details about this integration of the WWE Network into the Peacock streaming service, we will be sure to pass along to you because, again, we do this for you.
You're not The Rock.
But, yeah. So make sure you guys stay tuned to the Pro Wrestling Junkies Facebook page. Our boy Hector keeps us updated with all the news. And as soon as we know, we will let everybody know. So stay tuned on that. So moving on to Tuesday nights, or actually back to Tuesday nights. Impact, a show
people are watching.
Okay, Jovan, since the people are watching, why don't you tell them what happened?
We can burn through Impact real quick, not because it wasn't a great show. There was plenty of great matches. But main thing you need to know, Joe something, formerly Joe Dorn. Jake something, sorry, formerly Jake Diener.
Cousin Jake.
Cousin Jake. This man is a legitimate star. They're building him up as this underdog. He had a crazy tables match to start the night. Amazing match.
Mm-hmm.
Then he kind of got put in the moose hairs, man. He got in the crosshairs of one moose who still pissing fire about not having that Impact Championship match. And we had a big-time revelation in this damn show. Scott D'Amore finally made the TNA World Heavyweight Championship an official recognized belt in Impact Wrestling. I think it's been the first time in over 10 plus years they said that belt has been recognized as a title. So my boy Moose is actually really a champion. All of y'all can suck eggs who say that Moose isn't a real champion. Yes, he is.
Well, you know what? Ain't any of us come from the Junkyard because we're all fans of Moose right now.
We actually do love the Moose. So before you move on, now that his title has been recognized, do you think maybe AEW will recognize Brian Cage's FTW title?
No.
I don't think Taz would want it because that was the whole basis of the FTW title.
Exactly.
And one of the things I want to kind of go back to this whole thing with Jake something. He, he won that awesome tables match. Then he got beat down by Moose. But he didn't just take his legs and go to the back. He came back. He wanted more. And that led us to the main event of that night. Moose got a title match that night. It wasn't the title match he wanted, but he did get a title match, and he defended that belt against Jake something. And I'll tell you what, like I said, this was clearly a breakout night for Jake something. I mean, he's on his way, and I thought he might have been left dead in the water, with this whole thing with Diener and Violent by Design and stuff. But clearly, I was wrong because man, he looked great on Tuesday.
Hell yeah, he did.
All right. I guess the last thing, since we were kind of burning through Impact, we have new number one contenders for the Knockouts tag team titles in Jazz and Jordynne Grace, who defeated Kimberly and Susan, Jovan's favorite on Impact. Oh, yeah. So they will be facing Fire and Flava, I think at Sacrifice or whenever they do.
Sacrifices, which is their next show in a couple weeks.
Right. Yep. And also at Sacrifice, it was announced that it is going to be Moose versus Rich Swan for the Impact Championship. So Jovan Moose is finally getting his shot at, it is still the official Impact title, but Moose still has, he has his championship now. He can be happy for now. Right. But that match will be taking place at Sacrifice. So what do you guys think about them making Jazz and Jordynne Grace the number one contenders, and then just speak on the Moose Rich Swan match at Sacrifice as well?
You guys know how big of a fan of Jazz I am. You know how excited I was when she came back and stuff. I absolutely love it. I love this run she's been on. I think she's looked great. We all thought she was going to retire and hang it up, but that's clearly not the case, and she's been showing that she still has plenty of gas left in the tank. I've loved this pairing from the beginning. I love Fire and Flavor. I think they just are tailor-made for these titles and stuff, and that. And as much as I love Jazz and as much as I, love this team, you can't take the belts off Fire and Flavor right now. They are just too damn good. Exactly. And as for Moose versus Rich Swan, I love it. It's about time Moose gets his chance. He's got one tab, but you know what? Why not go for more? Why not beat Kenny Omega and become the belt collector? Whether or not I think that's going to happen, we'll just have to wait and see. Do not be surprised, though. One little thing here that do not be surprised if Rich Swan's title is not the only title on the line in this match. I could fully see them possibly unifying these titles and having one undisputed champion of Impact Wrestling.
I could see that too, and I'm going to start off this point because that was a great way to wrap that one. I think it will be a unification match for both of these belts. I think this is the way that they give the TNA Heavyweight Championship some honor. They absolve it into the Heavyweight Championship. You made it legitimate. You made Moose legitimate. You take both belts and make them into one. Fantastic. I have no problem with that. But if y'all remember my long-term booking decisions we were talking about a couple weeks ago on the Junkyard, Rich Swan has to maintain the championship. Rich Swan right now has to be the champion until he meets Kenny Omega and Omega beats him for the belts. Mm-hmm. It has to happen, even though as much as it's going to hurt me, it has to happen. That way Moose can bring that title back and be Mr. Impact. Yeah. So Swan and Moose is happening before Omega and Swan. I'm saying Swan has to take it, and this is when we see Omega come after that belt. So, all right. My crazy long-term booking might be into effect. It might be coming into play. If not, they're just going to give Moose the Raw end, and he loses or he wins. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So with Sacrifice, is this kind of the last Impact Plus show before Retaliation, or is there anything else?
Yeah, this is the stop before Retaliation.
Okay. So
Rebellion.
Sorry, Rebellion.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, a few things happen on Impact, so keep up with that.
Let me throw in two more little tidbits on Impact.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna do a DDJ trademark real quick. So,
patent pending.
there was some shots fired at the WWE
Yes.
from Impact Wrestling.
Yes, that was.
They teased doing an eye for an eye match, and then Scott D'Amore walked out saying that was the stupidest thing he'd ever heard. Who the hell would do that? So kudos to them because that was amazing. I legitimately popped for that moment.
Yep.
And this other moment here with the Forbidden Door has really got me going, man. Finn Juice once again putting it to the Good Brothers, and I love the Good Brothers. I'm a big time Doc Gallows fan. Everything he does is gold. Especially this segment was amazing with the Good Brothers and Finn Juice is building them up. Oh, you guys are the multi this. You're the greatest ever this. You're the best tag team in the world. Hungover, and they just walked out on them. And Carl Anderson's, like our wives watch this, man. I'm not hungover. I'm fine. And, the big LG's like, I am. So they're building that up. These guys are on a road going against each other. It's gonna be a great match.
One other thing I want to throw in from Impact, dude. This may have been the best AEW commercial on Impact since they started these. I thought I love heel Tony Khan. Like, yes. I love this character on Impact. I think Tony Schiavone is the perfect like second fiddle to TK in this. He had Brian Cage, he had Ricky Starks, he had Britt Baker, Reba, I forgot who else.
Isaiah Cassidy.
Yes, and Big Money Matt Hardy. I loved how he said in the line of the night, and I'm just thinking, damn, he had 4% of the AEW roster on that. But he said that's more star power than their whole roster combined.
Ricky Starks stole that line because he was trying not to crack so hard in that part.
Yeah, he had that. And then also, too, Brian Cage is like, I was a former Impact Wrestling champion. And that billing meant he like basically said that after that company went down the tube since I left or something like that.
Such good shoot, man. That heel promos were just fantastic. And I think Tony Khan even led into the match card with it. If you want to watch some good wrestling.
Yeah.
Like they always do. Okay.
Speaking of such good shoot, shout out to our boys, Steven, Isaac, and Shane, every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern. They go live on YouTube for about an hour with an audio version of the show coming out Saturdays at 4:20.
That's a perfect time for them to come out. All right. Yeah, definitely. All right. So moving on to Wednesday night. Had some good shows here. I'm going to throw the floor first to DDJ because he's going to get the chance to talk about his boy. So DDJ, take it away with NXT.
Oh, my God. You guys know, and anybody that's listened to the show knows, I am a huge, huge Cameron Grimes fan. I've been a fan of his since his days as Trevor Lee back in Impact Wrestling. There's just something about his look, the guy his size doing the moves he does and everything. But man, oh man, since he has been back and has basically become the new age $1 million man, he has just been killing it. This week was no exception. He is trying to recreate the Ted DiBiase character, the basketball dribbling and everything. He tried it 3 times and he just could not seem to get it right. The first time he's lets the guy dribbles it 10 times, does not do. He's like, and I think it's because he turned his head when DiBiase kicked the ball out from underneath the little boy's, dribble. Yes. So he throws the money and just storms off because he's pissed. So he's like, he comes out, he's going to some other, trainees and, has actually watched the video. So he ends the ball off to this female, not knowing at the time that this female was a former WNBA player and basically did the same thing, try to do the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And basically, I think he got to 8 or 9. She got to 8 or 9. He went to try to kick the ball out, but she pulled out this killer crossover and beat the challenge. So, Grimes throws away some more money. A little bit later, tries to do the same thing again. He hands the guy the ball, and he's just like, yeah, I ain't having none of this. And he just decks the guy and just drops the money and just leaves. They need to keep this going because, If Cameron Grimes stays on this path, there's only one way he's going. He's going straight up to the moon.
To the moon.
And gentlemen of the Junkyard, if you want to make sure that they can hear her screaming from the moon, get yourself a little bit of the unofficial sponsor of the Junkyard, one and only Blue Chew, to make sure that you're able to last all the way to the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon.
To the moon. All right, moving on. We had Zioli versus Casey Catanzaro. Sorry, that's a mouthful to say. But Zioli, she has been looking great ever since, her debut back on NXT after her training with Boa. She basically wrecked shop on Casey this week. I know Dennis is a big fan of her, and I've definitely loved what I've been seeing. Guys, thoughts on Zioli and kind of what's her ceiling with this gimmick?
Man, like I said, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I love it. The only thing I want to see out of this is I want to see Boa in action, because he's just been there. He's been that silent bodyguard type. But, the guard standing next to Tian Sha or whatever, this, character's name is and stuff. I want to see Boa do something. I mean, Zioli has been killing it. She's looked jacked. She's just a legit ass kicker, and just this has been just one of the best things going on NXT. But it's like I said, if there's one thing I would change, is I need to see Boa in action, because I feel like he needs to show something. It can't be the all Zioli.
I'm 100% in agreement with you. I think Zioli right now is killing it. Looks good in the ring. Her pre-entrance little thing she does is amazing. The whole throne and bodyguard thing, this whole gimmick, this whole thing is working for me on a level that I didn't think it would when it first started out. But the ceiling that you asked about, Spencer, I think there is no ceiling. If done right, this could actually be a mainstay and a corner point of NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Could it lead her to a championship?
Oh,
absolutely.
Hell yeah.
All right. So yeah, we're loving the Zioli character, the way it's going now. Kind of a little stale when she first came on the scene, but definitely loving this character switch now, being a little more aggressive. I also want to give a shout out to all, the cinematographers and everybody that's putting all these video packages and her entrances and everything. It looks amazing. Looks kind of movie quality, we'll say.
I have a very sneaky suspicion that Jeremy Borash's fingerprints are intertwined in this whole thing, because this screams Jeremy Borash style work.
The cinematic elements definitely scream Borash.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. Okay, next up, we finally got Karrion Kross versus Santos Escobar in a street fight. I heard this match was an absolute banger, and it could be one of our Junkyard Picks of the week. Stay tuned for that. How was the match, guys? I didn't get a chance to see this one.
Jovanni, take it away.
Kross started. Let me start this. Karrion Kross started by throwing a pickaxe or slamming a pickaxe through a damn truck door.
Yes.
What?
Well, just to interject here, that wasn't actually how the match started. Thought we were going to get that traditional Karrion Kross entrance. The music plays,
very
the
true.
lights go down, Scarlett comes out,
and
the whole thing was Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza were kind of standing guard at the vehicle, as being the heavies for Santos Escobar. And literally, I think Escobar came out and Kross jumped him in the parking lot. So this started out in the parking lot, and I thought that was a phenomenal way to start that match. Sorry, Joe, I just had to get that in.
It was so amazing. Like God, man, to me, this is how you needed to do that match. Because I'll go on record now saying The pairing between them two, I'm not a big fan of. I wasn't a big fan of because Santos Escobar is what? Your 205 live champion.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he fighting heavyweights? Why is he in there with the Karrion Kross, who is he should be your main guy? Why is he bugging around with Santos Escobar? I shut up real quick about that when this match really started to get going. After Karrion Kross threw the Goombas over the damn truck into the windshield and threw him through the plexiglass, and the match actually started to get into the ring. This was brutal. Mm-hmm. Santos looked good because he got in a lot of quality offense. He did. Karrion looked like a killer because he got in a lot of heavy duty offense. I can't even say anything more. Both of them got over. Both of them went over. I don't even care who won the match. It was phenomenal.
Yep. If one thing became abundantly clear in my eyes with this match, obviously we all know Karrion Kross is going to be a star, but to me, I think Santos Escobar was made in this match, and I fully he's going to be a star as well too. Classic case of Kross went over, but Santos got over.
My only gripe is there wasn't enough Scarlett, but everything else was amazing.
Oh man, you almost convinced me to go watch this match tomorrow, and now you just told me there's not enough Scarlett. Gosh, you lost me there.
You could never have enough Scarlett.
Oh, Karrion Kross, my friend, you are a lucky fella.
You are
on Giovanni's list.
Yes, he is.
Oh, I would come across this computer screen and slap you if he wasn't. All right, so guys, we're gonna get on a sad note here. It looks like, actually, no, it doesn't even look like. It is the unofficial, not unofficial, but the official end of the Undisputed Era. After all the actions that have happened over the past few weeks at TakeOver Vengeance Day, with Cole attacking O'Reilly, we finally got, Cole, he was going to explain his actions. Then, some stuff happened. Finn Balor came out, but then he got attacked by Cole. And then Roderick Strong came out, and it looked like everything was fine. And, Roddy was going to side with Cole or, being caught in the middle. But no, Cole just said, you know what, I can go on my own. I'll be NXT champion again. He basically gave Roddy a ball shot. And we still don't know what's going on with Bobby Fish until he comes back. But right now, the Undisputed Era is dead.
Yep.
Why is it the only way to break up between guys is like hitting each other in the nuts? Nothing gets like brotherly bonds broken faster than hitting in the nuts.
Oh God, yes, for sure.
Well, how would you feel? Wouldn't you think that if I came over there and kicked you in the balls, our friendship would be over?
I think it would be over, yeah. But I mean, I felt for Adam Cole in this because the promo at the beginning at least felt like he was conflicted about what he did, and you could kind of see why. And you're like, okay, yeah, he did kind of get a bit of a raw end. But to end the way you did, man, no, fuck you, brother. You were trying to make it seem like you're all good just so you could turn on Roddy at the end. I mean, no, this is done for. Stick a fork in him. Undisputed Era is breaking up. Who knows if this leads to Adam Cole going against everybody in the UE. Maybe they stick together. Maybe he goes off on his own. Maybe there's a call-up. Who knows? But they've opened up the doors now with breaking them up.
I really liked that promo that Adam Cole cut because I thought for a while, and I'm guilty of this, I bought it. I bought the first part of this promo. I thought maybe just he had a bad day or something, maybe he was having a rough day at home with, a certain dentist, not Isaac Yankem.
But sure it's easy to have a bad day with that dentist.
Yeah, you can't have a bad day with a dentist like that.
That's right.
But wait, speaking of which, is Adam Cole on your list?
Adam Cole, baby. My man, you just made the list.
Yeah. But going back to I was like, man, maybe we're not gonna see the end of this and stuff. They did the embrace, and then, damn it, he got me. And I'm just like, that was just, I felt the realism, like I mentioned before with Charlotte's promo on Rick on Raw. Same thing here. I felt it. Like, I felt the emotion coming out of Adam Cole, and I thought maybe, this might not be the end after all, but damn it, they got me hook, line, and sinker. But yeah, I definitely think this is going to be, I think this is great, though. I think Undisputed Era had done everything they could as a group. There wasn't anything left for them to do. I think this sets up really nicely. I think the best part about all this is I fully expect Kyle O'Reilly to come out of this as a star. And I've been full of hot takes, and I got another one here. I think we're going to see at the next takeover coming up after, whatever the next takeover is, WrestleMania weekend or whatever, Adam Cole will be the man to dethrone Finn Balor as the NXT champion. But I see Kyle O'Reilly being the guy to take the belt off Adam Cole.
That fulfills our prophecy that O'Reilly becomes champ.
Yep, provided there's no call up to the main roster, like I said before. But I think this is set. I think this is what this whole thing is setting up for, and I love it.
I'm down.
DJ, I love it. Book it. Now it's not going to happen because you said it.
Because it makes sense.
Because it makes sense.
It makes way too much sense. So they're definitely not going to do it.
Actually, if Vince McMahon were booking NXT, I'd agree with you. But you know what? 100 books NXT, and I think he's way more in tune with the fan base and stuff. So I've got hopes still.
All right.
Yeah, he's got high hopes.
I've got high hopes.
All right, you can stop.
He's got high in the sky and the high hopes.
All right. So that was it for, the NXT main show. But earlier this week, we found out there was a new NXT recruiting class, and some pretty big names from the indie scene are making their jump to WWE. We had names like Taya Valkyrie, Blake Christensen, Priscilla Kelly, whatever her WWE name is now.
Gigi some shit.
Gigi Dolan, I believe.
Sure, whatever that was. And, many more. You can touch on any I missed. Guys, quick thoughts. What are your thoughts on this new recruiting class coming to NXT?
Couple names that you missed out that you did want to touch base on, especially one in particular. Bronson Rex Steiner. For those of you who don't know, he is actually the son of Rick Steiner, and if you've seen a picture of him, dude is a beast.
Yes.
And then there's this other guy whose name I believe is Parker Boudreaux, who a lot of people are calling, I believe, especially Paul Heyman. They are calling, and if you've seen this guy, you can easily see why he's being referred to as the next Brock Lesnar. I mean, he looks just like Brock Lesnar. Like, he's got that same build, the same. He could be the next big thing.
I can't take him serious. He's got dog paw tattoos on his arm.
You know what? Well, why don't you go up to his face and tell him that and see what happens?
Oh, I will. I will look Boudreaux, or however he wants to say it, straight in his eye and say, you know what? You may look like Tarzan, but I bet you hit like Jane.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but there's also there's also, I believe, someone who we've actually seen on NXT a couple of episodes already, Zoe Stark, who had one thing we didn't touch on during our NXT recap. Great match with our Io Shirai, the NXT Women's Champion, and she's going to be someone you're going to see a lot in the future. I know there's just so many new talents. I believe this is their largest recruiting class of recruits since they started this. So, but yeah, we touch on all the big ones and stuff. And there's a lot of talent from the Chicago scene. So being from the Chicagoland area, I'm excited and stuff. So, but I'm really looking forward to this class. I'm like mainly excited to see what Taya Valkyrie does. And like I said, being a big fan of the Steiner brothers, I want to see Rick Steiner's son, see what he can do as well.
This whole class screams FAEW. It's chock full of female talent, WWE knows that AEW has been making a very concentrated push on making that division stronger. Their in-home talent is looking real good right now. Everyone is starting to really come out and really starting to shape into their own. And when you want to build something, you have to make sure that your next class of recruits is good too. Well, WWE went out there and scooped up a lot of the female talent. So, like I said, this class to me only screams FAEW.
Yeah, I guess that's, a good point to make. A lot of people will definitely side with you. There's definitely a lot of AEW marks that think that way. But I wherever they go, I'm definitely excited, to see the future of these talents. Whether they're long for NXT or not remains to be seen, because we haven't seen a lot of them. So maybe some of them might end up in AEW or other promotions down the road. We'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, that's it for the WWE NXT talk. So we're moving on to, before we get into AEW, we're gonna debut a brand new segment.
No, this isn't we. This isn't a we thing. This is a Spencer thing.
This is a purple debut.
A purple debut. Gentlemen, ladies of the Junkyard, welcome to your weekly Dark Order news segment. If for whatever reason, like these two jabronis at the top, you want to take a nap for like 3-4 minutes, go ahead. But I think, okay.
Hold on. Before I do like Dennis, I've got to do this since you've called it a news update. This is the Dark Order news update. I'm Ultra Contact. Okay, go ahead.
Join the Dark Order. All right, so we're gonna start with BTE.
No. It's not we. This is you.
It's all you, buddy.
All right, so I'm going to start with BTE being the Elite. Again, if you're not watching Being the Elite, you need to go ahead and do that and keep the snoring down to a minimum, please. So with the Dark Order segment on BTE, they were talking about them saving Hangman, and they were just shooting the shit and everything. And then there was just a super funny part where before they've said F Hangman, but then they started talking about Hangman, and then they were like, what? Hangman F's? And then they just started that over and over and over. And the greatest part of that whole segment was Hangman walks in to get a drink, and then he just starts chanting with them, and is probably not one of the best things they've done on BTE, but it was amazing. And at one point, I think it was Evil Uno, gave number 5 Alan Angels a pat on the back, so maybe there's being more respect for Alan in the group, and he also just dropped a badass t-shirt on Pro Wrestling Tees, which you all should go pick up for all my Dark Order fans. So go pick that up for sure. Sad news in Dark Order, news. Anna Jay, number 99, the Queen Slayer, was supposed to face Britt Baker in the AEW Eliminator tournament, but unfortunately she suffered an injury and is going to be out, I think, for 4 to 6 months recovery time. So we all at the Junkyard wish her a very speedy recovery and can't wait until she captures the AEW Women's Championship. Moving on to actually AEW, but still Dark Order. We're going to start off with Hangman versus Isaiah Cassidy. As Dennis mentioned earlier, it was Big Money Matt versus Hangman at Revolution in the Big Money match. But Matt Hardy wanted to soften up Hangman by having Isaiah Cassidy, who is short a tag team partner in Mark Quinn for whatever reason, either it be maybe the sickness or maybe he suffered an injury that hasn't been revealed. So we'll just have to wait and see. But Hangman and Isaiah Cassidy faced off in a pretty good match. Isaiah Cassidy, he's gotten some good singles matches on AEW. Both those guys in Private Party are great singles wrestlers, even better as a tag team. But, they definitely show their own when given the opportunities. But during this match, Big Money Matt tried to get involved and the Dark Order, John Silver and Alex Reynolds, come out and point it out to the ref, and he's like, no, Matt, you're gone. So the whole entire match, the rest of the match, John Silver, Alex Reynolds stay outside with Hangman. Hangman picks up the win over Isaiah Cassidy. So it's making Hangman look strong, and it's also building that relationship with the Dark Order and Hangman. So even if he doesn't join them officially, he's still in, close relations with the Dark Order, which I think he will need that at Revolution, because I think Big Money Matt has something else up his sleeve, especially because he came out with TH2, paid him off. So Hangman's going to need all the help he can to defeat Big Money Matt at Revolution. So guys, wake up.
But mommy, I don't want to go to school today.
But you need to, but hey, Mama says you need to talk some AEW here. We're talking Hangman versus Isaiah Cassidy. So
hey, Jovan.
Yes.
I just had this really bad dream. It's like I felt like I was listening to Spencer just blab about the Dark Order for like about what seemed forever, but only felt like about 5 minutes.
It's okay, DDJ. The Dark Order can't hurt you. They're not real.
Oh, man. Well, I feel so much better now knowing that the Dark Order can't hurt me.
So getting into the match, man, Big Money Matt and the Dark Order. Never mind, excuse me. Big Money Matt against Hangman Adam Page, who more than likely is going to join the Dark Order eventually. It's got to happen. They keep making this storyline. It was a good match for what it was. Isaiah Cassidy shown that he can go. Him and Marquand separately can go. Them together is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this went well to kind of build up Isaiah Cassidy, but also Hangman kind of got the opportunity to show a little bit more to his character development with the Dark Order. So it does what it does for AEW. AEW is real good about being able to sneak storylines in almost every part of a match. And to me, this was a great example of that.
Agreed. I thought it was a great match. I really like where this is going, and I definitely think we're going to see, in the end, we're going to see, like it was mentioned, Hangman may not become a full-fledged member of the Dark Order, but I definitely think he's going to realize that there's people out there he can still trust, and he's going to have some friends that, he can always call if he needs a backup. So,
you know what? Let me throw out a Dark Order shout out too, man. If you guys aren't following Johnny Hungy on YouTube, what I think he's calling it the silver screen when he does his movie renditions, they've done some real good ones, but this last one was the scene from the Catalina wine mixer where he's driving in his car singing.
yes,
I died.
Hey, like I've said before, silver is gold.
Yes, he is.
But yeah, no, a great match. Like I said, I'm intrigued by this big money match that we're gonna see. I definitely expect to see the Dark Order involved in here, and Dark Order's actually got a big week coming up this week on Impact.
Yep, and Revolution.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely Revolution with the Casino tag team battle royal, which we'll probably talk about a little bit later and stuff.
So moving on from, that really good match between Hangman and Isaiah Cassidy, we're moving on to a man who wants some revenge, and that is the Icon Sting, who's looking for some revenge against Team Taz after Brian Cage powerbombed him in the middle of the ring, and he's just like, he was left looking up, he's like, and, it left to that really gift moment. So, he came out to the ring. Team Taz was there calling him out. Came out to the ring. It looked like maybe they were going to get the best of him once again. But nope. Somebody is back out from the body bag. Sting, actually, there was a promo, and I just remember this. Sting, or before that, there was a promo, and it was, Darby Allin coming out of the body bag, but then Sting comes out, and he's got a body bag, and we're like, oh, okay, Darby Allin is in the body bag. He opens it up. Nope, it's Taz's son, Hook. And then we cut to the stadium, the chairs and everything, and Darby Allin is over there, and he is on a zip line, and doing what Sting, Shawn Michaels, everybody has done in the past. He zip lines to the ring with his skateboard and helps Sting take out Team Taz, Ricky Starks, and Brian Cage. Guys, what did you think of that moment when it happened? Just Sting coming back, and then, he was having a little bit of trouble with that harness. Thankfully, it wasn't live. But what were you guys feeling when all that happened?
This is exactly what needed to happen to get people back into this match, because I know a lot of people, and I'm sure Jovanni's going to go speak here in just a minute about it and stuff. But there are a lot of people that were kind of just, kind of losing, feeling like the steam was kind of going away in this match. Like this angle, the story was losing steam. But this moment here gave that shot in the arm that this match sorely needed to get people back on board and stuff. I thought it was great. Sting looked good. He showed that he's still. I think we're gonna see a little bit more physicality out of him than I think we were expecting, because from what I've been hearing, he's been fully cleared to compete. He's good to go, and that. So, and the one thing I really liked about this match is, Taz had a conflict. He's like, do I go? He's got his guys, in the ring, but he's got his kid in a body bag. What does he do? He made the right call. He did whatever any good father is. You tend to your kid first, and getting him out of the bag and making sure he was okay and stuff. So, yeah, I'm totally in on this, and just I'm definitely back to being excited about this match, because again, this angle gave this whole story the shot in the arm that it sorely needed.
Last week with the Powerbomb, I said that that's what needed to happen for us to get excited about the match.
Mm-hmm.
Got a lot of people back on board. This week, we get the Stinger Splash and the Scorpion Death Drop. Come on, man. After taking that hellacious bump, Sting went in there, did his thing, looked strong. I know all of us fans from the 90s, when we saw Darby Allin come down on the zip line, half of us freaked out and we're just like, oh my gosh, not again, someone's doing this. And then the other half were like, this is amazing. I don't think we've seen a zip line since the tragic events of Owen. But on the other hand, Darby did have some issues getting out of that harness when he landed, so he was at least in there very securely. Mm-hmm. So they did it right. He was safe. But definitely this everything about it, to the fake out with, is a Darby in the body bag? No, it's, Hook. And to Sting just being able to at least go out there and regulate a little bit, I'm all in for the match. And hot take, if we don't get any more Sting and Darby, we don't get any more Team Taz heat between now and Revolution, that is the best thing you can do. Right now, this feud is at its apex. We want to watch the show. We want to see this match. We don't need anything else to build into it. Leave it alone. We'll see it at Revolution.
The nice thing about that is we've only got one more show before Revolution, so that's very doable, especially with everything else that they've got going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. I was totally not invested in this match about 2-3 weeks ago, but with what they've done, with Sting and Darby and Brian Cage and Ricky Starks, everything they've done these past few weeks, I'm actually getting back into it. I'm actually interested to see what they're going to do now. So congratulations, AEW. You have turned me around, I think, a lot of people with the past 2 weeks. So it's amazing what new things and, actually getting Sting to do some physicality and not just staying around with a bat will do for you. Moving on, the next thing we're going to talk about is one, there was a match with Brandon Cutler, Jake Hager. That doesn't really matter. What we really want to talk about is after Jake Hager basically destroys Brandon Cutler, the whole inner circle comes out to attack Brandon Cutler, and then the Bucks come out to try to make the save. But then it cuts to a screen, and doing a preference before this, before the show even started, right when the show started, the Bucks were taking pictures with their parents in front of the trucks and everything. But then it cuts to MJF and Jericho, who are hanging out with Papa Buck right by the truck. And this dude is basically smothered in blood. Well, probably ketchup, but he is all kinds of messed up. So Jericho and MJF attacked Papa Buck, which, Nick and Matt, they sprinted out there to catch Jericho and MJF. But, being the good heels they are, they got away just in time. And right as the Bucks are running out, Jericho and MJF are driving away laughing at them. So, for a match that we thought maybe wasn't really going to have a lot between, Jericho, MJF, and the Bucks, now we actually got some meat on the bones for this match. And it's a little bit personal now for the Bucks. So with the events that happened on last Wednesday's episode of Dynamite between these two teams, are you guys more invested in this match now?
Absolutely. You want to, a lot of times, if you really want to get through to your opponents and get underneath their skin and really play, the psychological game, one of the things you do is you go after their family. It never fails. And, it's been very well documented, that the Young Bucks are very family oriented. They're all about their family. And, having had the chance to meet, Papa Buck and Mama Buck back at All In, I can see where the Bucks get their values from, because I had a very nice conversation with Papa Buck, and, good dude. And it's someone being a fan of his, Jericho and MJF, that's not cool. You don't do that to this guy who really had nothing to do. He's just an innocent bystander. He is the Young Bucks, the father. That being said, absolutely invested in this match. This just adds that. I think we all expected this match to be a decent match, but it's gone from being a match to now it's personal. And that, I definitely think the Bucks are going to bring the fire, and they're gonna be out for blood. I think it's going to be one of those, you made our father bleed. Now we're going to make you guys bleed and stuff. And it's just this match is going to be. This match went from being what could potentially be a very scientific, great tag team match. This is going to be an all-out brawl and a war.
Shout out to Papa Buck, man. Papa Buck needs a little bit of acting lessons because he didn't get the cue to fall down on point. They had to pull his ass down. But he did his job, man. He went in there, got worked over, got a little bit of color, and really sold the beat down. Was it needed? Maybe to give us a little bit more reason to care about this match, because it did kind of feel like it was just thrown together. Mm-hmm. So I like it. I like a little bit of the extra heat. Classic heel tactics, getting away in the nick of time, using the distraction of one friend getting beat up for your father. That's greatness. Let's see. Let's take a hot take here. The Young Bucks lose the titles.
I'll double down on that.
I'll triple down on that. I think it's time for the Bucks to lose, because I think maybe a team in the Casino Battle Royal might take the tag titles off Jericho and MJF.
I have a feeling of that as well.
Since we're talking about the Casino Battle Royal, you want to go ahead and shoot your shot and call your team?
Proud and Powerful.
You know what? I'm going to double down on that.
As much as I want to say one of the two teams that are representing the Dark Order in John Silver and Alex Reynolds and Stu and Evil Uno, guys, I'm going with Santana and Ortiz. Those two men need these tag team titles.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? What better way to really have, to break away from the inner circle, then, taking the titles off, Jericho and MJF. So yeah, absolutely. I think this is being tailor-made to set up to finally give Proud and Powerful their long overdue run with these titles.
I cannot wait. That should be good.
Yes, it's going to be great. And there have been talks of one Thea Trinidad coming to AEW. Mm-hmm. This is the way you introduce her. She helps them win the tag team titles.
Yes.
Done.
I'd be very okay with seeing Thea Trinidad back on my TV screen.
In more ways than one. All right.
Jovanni. Aleister Black.
Aleister Black has made the list.
Okay. Wasn't sure.
Oh yeah, no, we introduced him on I believe the last episode.
Okay.
Yes. All right. So moving on, we had another semifinal match in the women's AEW Eliminator tournament. It was Britt Baker who defeated I don't know who it was, some jobber on one of the YouTube episodes.
He was the one that replaced Anna Jay.
Yeah, we don't really care about her. Versus Nyla Rose, who defeated Jovan's girl, Tay Conti, the wife of one Jorge Conti, Jovan.
Jorge Conti, if you're paying attention, sir, I did actually just verify this information today. You are still married to Tay Conti, and that is a blessing for you, sir. Count your days, count your hours, because as soon as I find you and it's me and you in that squirrel circle, we're going to go one-on-one. You're going to go one-on-one with the hot one. Sir, whether it is either Talking Shop 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it doesn't matter what it is, because when I find you, and once we get into the ring, you'll learn what the 4 most dangerous letters in all of pro wrestling are. W-O-R and M. Worm it.
Why did you go then that one instead of
I can't put that one up by itself. It's weird.
Okay.
It's a boom bonk.
But I thought for a minute there you were going to go into the whole spiel with Liam Neeson from the first Taken movie.
Oh, that would have been great, Jorge Conti. You don't know me, but I know you, and have a certain set of skills.
All right, so now that Jovan is done shooting on Jorge Conti, let's actually talk about the match now. Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose. They got a ton of time on Dynamite, being the semi-main event. I was in and out of watching it, but it was, I think, Britt Baker's best match on Dynamite. She definitely looked great. Bad result, I think. Nyla Rose, she did go over, but I think the result they went with, having Britt Baker lose, and I think we all did call for Britt to win the AEW Women's Championship in this tournament, defeating Shida. She goes down against Nyla Rose, so now we're going to have Nyla Rose versus the winner of Riho versus Thunderosa, which is actually happening, or has happened on Sunday, I think, on Bleacher Report. They're doing that match, and then the finals will be on Dynamite, more than likely going to be Thunderosa. So Thunderosa versus Nyla Rose. I would rather see Thunderosa versus Shida, but I just have a feeling they might do Nyla Rose versus Shida for the third time, and nobody really wants that. Guys, you can speak on the match, and then what's your thoughts on Nyla Rose advancing?
Well, 2 words: bracket busted.
Yep.
But I don't necessarily, I'm disappointed, but I don't hate what happened. I don't hate the result because, Nyla Rose really needed a legit credible win because, to kind of get herself back to that level where she needs to be, where she's this monster heel in the women's division. And you said that, Spencer, that this was Britt Baker's best match in AEW to date, correct?
That's what I said.
I'm going to double down on that and also say this may have been Nyla Rose's best match in AEW to date as well, too. I definitely she's had some great stuff with Shida, but I just felt like overall, I think this may have been her best performance. That's just my opinion. But like I said, I don't hate the decision as much as I think a lot of people do and stuff and that. So, and I'm very anxious to see, who's going to be. Is it going to be, Thunder Rosa, or it's going to be Riho? I think it's going to be Thunder Rosa because we've already seen Riho versus, Nyla Rose and that. And I definitely think, Nyla Rose versus Thunder Rosa is going to provide an intriguing match to conclude the USA side of the bracket. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is the finals of the Eliminator tournament match happening at Revolution or? So wait, so they're doing the matches and then the final is going to be on Dynamite, correct?
Yeah, I think Thunder Rosa and Nyla's Sunday.
Yeah.
And
so
then
what are they going to do? Are they going to do, because I know I think the setup for the final for the Japanese side is also going to occur tomorrow, but I'm kind of confused because I thought Shida was defending the title at Mania, but then they would have to do the finals of the USA and the Japanese brackets and then do the winner. So it's almost like 2 people they're going to have like 3 matches in this tournament because you still got your finals of each side of the tournament and then the final.
I think they'll probably do the thing like, do Sunday, the semifinal, and then do the finals in the USA, like on YouTube on Monday, and then move to Japanese versus USA on, the Crossroads edition of Dynamite next week.
Yeah,
this Wednesday.
That actually, great point. I didn't even consider that. Spencer, good job.
Coming in with the hot stuff.
On the Dark Order.
Guys, this, like DDJ said, bracket buster, man. If you were in prediction leagues, I guarantee you, if you called that when you won your shot this week. But you know what? I don't hate it as much as I initially did. Yeah. Going into it, Britt Baker and Thunderosa for me was the money match. But Nyla Rose is a legitimate threat. I mean, she is a legitimate beast. I do want to see what happens. I have a sneaky feeling that if Nyla Rose does make it to the final, she'll probably be going against Maki Ito. And I think Ito wins it to go against Shida because no one wants to see Nyla Rose, Shida 3.
I hate to burst your bubble, but I think Maki Ito was eliminated in the first round.
Yeah, so
what's the other one's name?
It's the Magic
Sakazaki versus Ryu Mizunami.
Yeah, which one was the one that was the Dark Order person?
Maki Ito.
Damn it.
I know. Davis? I'm sad. But no, it was the female Okada versus Aladdin Girl.
Oh, yeah, the female Okada.
That's going to be your final for the Japanese bracket.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm leaning more towards it doesn't matter. Shida retains.
All right. So last thing we have for Dynamite that we need to touch on is there is going to be a face of the TNT Championship, whatever it was.
Face of the Revolution.
Yeah, Face of the Revolution match. We already have Cody, Scorpio Sky, and Penta L0M. We had a qualifying match this week or last week on Dynamite with Phoenix versus Lance Archer. Before we even talk about that, there's going to be a match this Wednesday that I am actually very excited about, and it'll be in our Dark Order news segment of the week. That is Max Caster versus Preston Vance, number 10 of the Dark Order, for a spot in that ladder match. That's going to be a banger. I can't wait for that one.
Goes over.
Oh, God, I hope so. Dude totally deserves it. But getting into match. I saw a little bit of this match. It looked great. I heard great things about it. Archer did go over Phoenix to get a spot in that ladder match. But go ahead and tell me a little bit about that match and maybe did the right person go over, or should Phoenix have been in with his brother?
I think the right person did go over in this match. Although I would love to, anything that would involve Phoenix and ladders, you can always sign me up for and stuff. But I definitely think it was the right call to put Lance Archer in this match. That guy does things that a guy his size should not be able to do.
Exactly.
And then, of course, Phoenix is just amazing with those ropes. I think he does the ropes, jumps off the ropes, all his moves out there. I think he does that better than anybody else in the world of professional wrestling right now. He really is the king of the ropes. It was a great big man versus little man match. Phoenix showed that he can hang with the big boys. And, it got hot, it got heavy. Jake got involved. And which is something nice to see. It's nice to see Jake getting a little bit more physical, and that, but, obviously he can't move around like he used to and stuff like that. But you know what though? Sign me up for Jake's short arm clothesline any day of the week and stuff, but great match. Very physical, a lot of fun. And I love the fact that they showed each other a sign of respect after the match was over with.
This match was very, very good. Very good. I would have loved to see Phoenix win just because of what him and his brother would have been able to do in this match. But I think that's the reason he didn't. No one wants to see Phoenix and Penta be against each other because they're so great together. Even though when they go against each other, it's phenomenal. But Archer has a little bit of claim to be the face of the Revolution. I mean, he was only one of the first challengers to the TNT title. So you're getting him back in the mix. He does kind of have this feeling like he's kind of due because he's lost to most of the big ones that he's been in. But he's still, he's still a big deal. So he does need a signature win. I don't know if I'm going to peg him to win this match yet. But to me, it made all the sense in the world to have Archer go over. I did, like I said, like DDJ stated, I love seeing Jake get in there. But I wasn't too upset with his booking. I wasn't too upset with the match. It was a real great match. Phoenix does things that a lot of people wish they could, and Archer does things that a lot of people his size wish they could even dream of. So, classic big guy versus little guy thing. The only thing that I like better than that is the classic matchup of fat guy, little coat. But it was a great match, guys. It gave you everything you wanted.
Yeah. All right. So that's going to wrap it up for our AEW talk. I got a few more things to talk about, and then we are actually going to wrap up this episode. Look for our discussion, our weekly roundtable. We're going to be moving that to Friday. Try a new format out here, see how it works out. Let us know. Do you like the switch we're going to be making? Or do you want us to go back to, the jam-packed episodes? Just, trying to make it a little more easy to digest for all our viewers and listeners. All right. So, that's it for AEW. So now we're just going to move on to the New Japan portion of the show. And there's only one match we got to talk about, and that is the IWGP US champion, Jon Moxley, versus the number one challenger who's held onto that briefcase. And Dennis is rocking on our video feed, Kenta, who has made a few appearances on AEW television. So this match, we are recording on a Saturday. It happened last night on the 26th. We watched it last night. Great match. Don't get me wrong. Definitely some great spots, some brutal, hard-hitting affairs. Kenta was giving, a lot of animosity, middle fingers to Moxley throughout the match. But in the end, Moxley must go over. Moxley pins Kenta in the ring and is still your IWGP US champion. I think we talked about it before we went on the air. Dennis and Jovan, they feel like maybe this is the right decision, but I'm going to go ahead and say it now. I disagree with the decision. I think Kenta should have got this belt. I see the reason in keeping it on Jon Moxley because, New Japan strong, needs some more eyes. New Japan needs to build up, that U.S. fan base. And Jon Moxley is hot right now. So if you have a title on him, keep it on him until, a worthy challenger comes along. I think that was Kenta. But there was some news that Tanahashi might want to challenge and come to New Japan Strong or New Japan wherever, might want to challenge Jon Moxley for that U.S. championship. Guys, what were your thoughts on the match, Moxley going over, and what are your thoughts on a potential match between Tanahashi and Jon Moxley?
You know what, Jovanni? We'll let you start this one off.
This was the absolute best booking decision that New Japan could have made at this point in time. Watching live, I did feel like Kenta was robbed, so I'm going to preface it with that. But going into understanding this title, the U.S. title for NJPW has been held by Kenny Omega. It has been held by Juice Robinson. And it has been held by Jon Moxley.
It's also been held by Cody Rhodes.
And Cody Rhodes.
And Lance Archer.
But I was just giving a few names, but those are a few more. Case in point, this title predominantly has not been held by a Japanese wrestler. This title was created for the outside wrestlers to be able to hold a championship and have the New Japan backing. That's what this title was made for, guys. This title was made for Kenny Omega so he could have a main championship when he wasn't the man. To me, this title still has that feeling of having to come from, you need to be a U.S. person to be a U.S. champion. How are you going to have somebody over there be the U.S. champion and they're not from the U.S.? Kenta solves that a little bit because he lives in Florida. But Kenta, as much as I love you, you are not Jon Moxley. You don't have the same name value. You don't get the same pop from the U.S. crowds as Jon Moxley. If the Forbidden Door is truly open and we're going to see a lot more interaction both ways, Jon Moxley needed to keep that title. And the matchup with the Ace, that shows you why.
I couldn't have said that any better myself. I mean, I was kind of the same mindset of Jovanni. You know, I was more upset right after the match than I am after having some time thinking about things. You know, maybe thinking about trying to come to, you know, grips or kind of trying to make sense of the reasoning why they went the way they did. And I mean, I'm not going to try. I'm just going to just say Jovanni nailed it with that. I mean, I think right now when you're trying to really spearhead the expansion of New Japan in the United States, I think it makes all the sense in the world to keep that title on Jon Moxley because, you know, not only did they just have that new show that debuted on the Roku channel, there's rumors going around now that I believe New Japan is possibly coming back to Access TV, or even maybe try to get some other network to get them, a weekly U.S. based show, that kind of thing. So I think it makes all the sense in the world. And I mean, just because Moxley got the best of Kenta this time doesn't mean it'll happen again should they meet down the road. As for, Tanahashi, Tanahashi versus Moxley is probably like a New Japan purist dream come true because you've got arguably the hottest wrestler in the United States going up against one of the all-time greats in Japanese wrestling. So, you know what? I'm cool with that.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I'm still agreeing that Kenta should have won that belt, but if we get Jon Moxley versus Tanahashi for the title, sign me up too. That would be a dream match.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Last thing before we move on to our Junkyard Picks of the week, the Wrestler Observer came out with their awards for 2020, and Jovan is actually going to read a few of the big winners off for us. So, Jovan, go ahead.
All right, you guys, let's go with the best one here. Wrestler of the Year male went to Mr. Jon Moxley.
No argument there.
Your most outstanding wrestler of the year went to the current AEW World Champion, Mr. Kenny Omega. Your tag team of the year went to the current AEW World Tag Team Champions, the Young Bucks. Your best promo of the year went to Eddie Kingston, which, yes.
Yeah.
Promotion of the year, AEW. Best weekly episodic show of the year, AEW Dynamite. Here's a big one. The Wrestling Observer's Wrestling Match of the Year. The Young Bucks versus Adam Page and Kenny Omega, Revolution 2020. Now, just so you don't feel like it's all AEW, Japanese MVP of the Year, Tetsuya Naito. Mexico MVP of the Year, Rey Fenix. The European MVP of the Year, the NXT UK champion, Walter.
All right.
Now, your women's wrestler of the year, Bayley. Feud of the year went to Jon Moxley versus Eddie Kingston. Your most improved went to the Brit Baker.
Okay.
Most charismatic went to MJF. I guess that's their heel award.
You can be charismatic and still be a heel. I've got no problem with this.
Now, the best technical wrestler, and this guy, to me, this award should be named after him when he finally hangs it up or gets close to the end. Zack Sabre Jr.
Of course.
Great call there.
This is where we get into a little bit of uncharted territory. Your most underrated, Ricochet.
Oh, God.
Rookie of the year, Pat McAfee. Best non-wrestler, Taz. All right, guys, for all you WWE fans, this is going to hurt. Let's do the one that's going to not hurt first. Best gimmick of the year.
Oh, I bet you about this one.
Orange Cassidy. But that doubles down with the worst one of the year, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. And in case you were wondering, best booker of the year and best promoter of the year went to Tony Khan. The first time that's happened since Vince McMahon did it back in the 90s, and it wasn't even close. And on the heels of that sting, for all of you WWE fans, the worst TV show of the year was Raw, and the worst promotion of the year was the WWE. Thoughts? Are they far off? Are they paid? What's going on? What are we thinking?
The one that I have the biggest issue with is the worst wrestler of the year, because there are plenty of guys out there that were worse than Bray Wyatt.
He was worst gimmick.
Oh, it's just worst gimmick?
Yeah.
I don't get what all the hate is for the Fiend gimmick. I love it. Like I've gone on record to say that it's his gimmick, along with Alexa Bliss, is like one of the best things going on Monday Night Raw. So I don't understand what all of these people have against this gimmick. Maybe they just don't fully understand it. You know?
They probably don't get it.
And that's one I have a serious issue with. But other than that, for the most part, I'm cool with it. Or it's not enough of an issue in my eyes to make a big stink about it.
Spencer?
I definitely agree with DJ. I think Fiend being the worst gimmick is far-fetched. I definitely think it's not the worst, maybe like middle of the way at least. When you said the one that really pissed me off, what was it, most underrated?
Yeah,
Yes.
Ricochet.
Yeah.
It's so true, because that man, before he came to the WWE and even on NXT, was excelling when he had that ladder match for the NXT North American title at NXT Takeover, I think New Orleans or wherever it was. Amazing match. And then, he had it with a great match with the Velveteen Dream. He did that awesome flip out of the ring, and it was just like we were all on board with Ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he comes up to Monday Night Raw. Again, that totally should be the worst show of the year. 3 hours is way too long. Tony Khan, if you find your way to this, I know you're doing the AEW Dark Elevation. Whenever you did the 3rd hour, please do not put it on Wednesday. Leave it separate. That's all I'm saying. But Ricochet, that man deserves so much better.
Yes.
I'm not going to be shocked if he signs like an extension with WWE, because the money might be good. But honestly, if I was him, I would walk away. And I know, like, people are like, oh yeah, you should go to AEW. He should go to AEW or New Japan, one of those two. And if they're working together, it's like one and the same. Like, that dude deserves better.
He killed it in New Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, because he's already done a lot in New Japan. I would say that would be the best fit for him, is to go to New Japan.
Yeah.
Because, like you mentioned before, they are working with AEW, so he can still get some exposure. But I just feel like I think New Japan, especially the stuff he did with Will Ospreay, I think that's where his talents would be best utilized. And when it comes time for him to sign an extension, I don't see it happening, because Ricochet strikes me as one of those guys that's like, I know I'm better than what I'm being presented as and stuff. And I fully expect him to go somewhere to, where his talents can be better utilized. So,
Yep.
So you don't think he wants to stay somewhere where he just has to keep saying, I'm a real life superhero?
Money can only buy so much, and
Happiness.
stuff. Happiness, yes, and it's just, it comes to a point where, do I want to be able to, showcase my talents the way I know how to do it, or do I just want to cash a paycheck every 2 weeks?
Exactly.
Yeah, good point. Okay, so yeah, I think we're done talking about the awards.
Real quick, you mentioned about the AEW Dark Elevation. You were saying how you don't want it to be the 3rd hour on Wednesdays. I believe they've gone out to say that I think it's the 15th of March. I believe it's going to be on Mondays on YouTube. I think like an hour or so. I think it's going to basically kind of start at 6 or 7 o'clock, Eastern time, and basically take you into Monday Night Raw, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. So yeah, you're going to have AEW Dark Elevation on Mondays, AEW Dark on Tuesdays, 2 shows I more than likely won't watch, and then of course AEW on Wednesday. So for all you AEW purists, you are definitely going to be getting enough AEW, and then whenever they eventually do the 3rd hour, if they ever do that on top of. So a lot of AEW going around.
They still have a second show coming.
Yes, the real second show, not this one that's coming with the Dark Talent. But moving on, our last thing for this episode is going to be our Junkyard Picks of the week. So, Dennis, I'll let you start off first. Who are you picking?
Oh man, there were a couple that I went between, and it's a great thing when you struggle to make this decision, because that tells you right then and there that there was a lot of good wrestling on this past week, and there definitely was this past week. But for me, I got to go with from AEW Dynamite. I got to go with Phoenix versus Lance Archer. I mean, again, just the stuff that I saw Lance Archer do, the stuff that we continue to see Phoenix do, it was just in a phenomenal big man versus little man match. And, the big man worked like a little man. And it's just, I absolutely love this match. That's my pick of the week.
All right. My pick of the week comes from NXT. To everybody who knows me knows that this was a crazy one for me to pick, but I just could not stop watching this match. I've watched NXT twice, mainly because I wanted to see this match again. And to me, that's the pick of the week, when you have to go back and watch it because you're like, damn, that was a good match. We're going with the street fight, Karrion Kross versus Santos Escobar and the rest of the Liga de Fantasma.
All right. Good picks. I think I'm definitely going to have to go back and watch that street fight with everything you guys have said about them. But my pick, and I do like to differ between these guys if they offer some good opinions. I'm going with one that's maybe not going to get like a lot of praise this week, but definitely should go back and watch. And I'm not being biased at all. That's Hangman versus Isaiah Cassidy. Great match. Again, it showed Isaiah Cassidy could go as a singles wrestler in the ring. Some great storytelling with Hangman, the Dark Order, TH2, Big Money Matt. Further development there. If the first two are like 1A, 1B, this definitely is like 1C. So definitely, I would definitely recommend you check out all three of these matches if you don't have any other time in the week. But again, we've talked a lot of wrestling this week. We still have our weekly roundtable, but we are actually be moving that to another day to give you a full experience and not just a rush through version. So you can look for that on Friday. We will be dropping that. So you can get your weekly what happened this week in wrestling here on Tuesdays, and then come back on the Pro Wrestling Junkies Pod Squad Network on Friday to hear our weekly roundtable. And then this week's weekly roundtable with the news that Big Show Paul White is coming to AEW. We'll talk a little more about that there, and also famous wrestlers jumping ship from one promotion to the other. So make sure you guys check us out on Friday to hear what we have to say on that. But thank you for joining us for this very extended week in wrestling. Just proves there's a ton of great wrestling that needs to be mentioned in every brand. So definitely want to give all the attention and time properly to every brand. So guys, again, that's going to wrap it up for the first episode of the week here. Make sure you guys follow us on PW_Junkies, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Subscribe, like the videos. Go join our group, Pro Wrestling Junkies, in the marketplace, Pro Wrestling Junkies Marketplace. Go buy a t-shirt, prowrestlingtees.com/Pro Wrestling Junkies. You can follow me on my personal Twitter page at number 11SC. Guys, tell them where they can find you here tonight.
You can find me on Facebook at Dennis Day Jr. You can follow me on Twitter at Dennis W. Day Jr. Also, my podcast has a Facebook page. Just type in "Whaddya Say?" with DDJ. And then you can follow the show on Twitter at Whaddya Say DDJ. And yeah, definitely, appreciate all the love and support. And yeah, let's take it home, Jovanni.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you wanted to contact me, Jovanni 2 Hotty, or Guapo 2 Hotty, outside of the confines of the junkyard, I am on the Pro Wrestling Junkies Facebook page under Jovan Menacho, which is my government name. Or you could find me on that Twitter machine at Jovanni2Hotty. Follow me, I follow back. Sometimes I'll interact in there, ask me a question, I may answer it. You never know when you reach out to the hot one.
That's right. You'll never know who you're going to get in contact here with on the Pro Wrestling Junkies page. But yeah, so like I said, that's going to do it for what happened this week in wrestling segment. Come back on Friday, right here where you're listening to your podcast on Apple, Spotify, or even YouTube when you're watching it, and hear what we have to say with our weekly roundtable about wrestlers jumping ship. So
you know what, Junkies, real quick before we end this off and go home, I know you're probably watching this on YouTube and you probably got one of those crazy pop-up ads that you skipped in 5 seconds. But let me go ahead and give a little love to one of those 5-second pop-ups that you may have just skipped. That is the second official member of the Pro Wrestling Junkies Junkyard sponsorship. That is the one and only Manscapes with the Lawnmower 3.0. I know you may have skipped it because you're a little, shy about being a little hairier than you should be. That Manscapes 3.0 lawnmower will be able to help you tidy up, get everything looking just fine, and it has a light so you can see what you're doing, and it's very safe on your special parts. So, if you need to groom up for a special occasion or for that special evening, Manscapes got you with that Lawnmower 3.0, the official sponsor of the Junkyard.
all right. I think that's the best way to end this episode. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening. We will see you guys Friday. So, guys, say it with me. Have a great night. Ba-bang. Junkies out. Boom.